now. I've got the POLARPRO BASECAMP Matte Box Director's Kit Edition. Ultimately, I decided on the BASECAMP ecosystem to invest as a matte box and the filtration glass. It's also been quite a few years since the BASECAMP release. I believe it's their oldest, alongside their Photographic Summit Compact Peter McKinnon Recon system and the Nano filter holder. You've also got their Helix Maglock. They've done a new release with the chroma glass filters that essentially is a 3-in-1. You've got a polarizer, a variable ND, and mist. We'll see if I'm able to get my hands on them later on to sort of compare and just see what that shooting workflow is like. We're going to dive into all of the good stuff, put it together, and also mount it to a few of my lenses. I've got my 7200 Sony GM 2.8 and also my newly picked up IRIX 21T 1.5 cine lens with a 95mm diameter. Now, if you like what you see in today's video or you want to explore the rest of POLARPRO's range, then you can support the channel by using the links down below. I'll be putting them in the pinned comments and the video description. I'll also put some alternate matte boxes and filters that you can go ahead and check out that I think might also be for you and your style of shooting. And of course, you can read more of my deeper thoughts at onetechtraveler.com. This is the POLARPRO BASECAMP Matte Box Director's Kit Edition. Let's get started. So first off, the BASECAMP is a matte box and a filtration system. You can get filters using threaded and magnetic ones these days, but essentially, if you're in video, if you do want more control of the lights, the flaring when you're shooting outside, then a matte box system is going to help. But hopefully this will give you a better idea in what type of filters you might be interested in and whether this or their most affordable kit is going to be better for you. This video is not sponsored by POLARPRO. I did go ahead and buy this myself. So they offer the BASECAMP in 3 kits. You've got standard VND, you've got stage 3, and you've got the stage 3 director's kit. Now, when the BASECAMP first launched, it came in really awesome packaging, topographic design, really big rectangular box, and all the different filters and the good stuff inside. So I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty disappointing to see the most expensive director's kit not come in any of that. It was just a brown box and it came with all of these. And essentially you do get the cheapest kits, the VND kits, and they just add on all the individual boxes for the filters that the director's kit comes in. So it is kind of like a makeshift bundle of the filters that POLARPRO think would work well for a complete suite. So yeah, pretty bummed out. It might have just been a launch thing. Still super excited for the BASECAMP itself. You get the VND kit, the 3rd stage adapter, the graduated ND8, the VND 6.9, the VND 2.5 mist, the mist light, which is an 8th strength, the VND 6.9 mist, and the standard VND 2-5 inside the VND kit. Now, I don't know if it was a freebie getting the director's kit or was actually included in the first place. It didn't mention it on their website. You get this multi-filter pouch. Here's the look. Nicely done. Really nice zipper pull. You can store up to 7 filters, which is enough for the director's kit, excluding the ND8 graduated, and I'll show you a bit later on. As we are unpacking all those extra filters, I can kind of store them all inside here. Starting off with the VND kit. Or what it looks like inside. This has got the BASECAMP VND 2.5 in their own filter pouches, which is cool. The circular polarizer, which is essential for the way they set up the VND system. A full set of clamp rings. 80, 87, 95, 100, 104, and 110. Cinema lenses, if they don't have any threaded filters, you can just clamp them on with that, which is super nice. Is there anything inside here? Yeah. 2 sets of cleaning cloths. QR code instructions to help set up your BASECAMP. No stickers in here, which would have been nice. I do collect stickers. The main BASECAMP matte box carry case. Loops for shoulder straps you can carry with you. Oh, we got something inside. The 77mm base plate. Oh, okay. Oh yes. The matte box system itself. Now this feels and looks really high quality, also super light, just under 300 grams, carbon fiber, French flag. Can adjust it with the golden locking nut. All of the mounting or securing points are nicely accented with the gold or like a bronze trim, not just as a visual cue, even though it does look pretty dope. Unscrew this. There's already an 82mm base plate secured inside here. So you get a 77 and an 82 included. This one's for the circular polarizer. We also have a nice locking dial, and this is to secure the drop-in filters. You can remove the French flag by lifting it high, and we can separate just like so. So if you don't need the French flag, you can have it with this, with a slight like hood. They've got these two clippy things, and I believe we can just pull that away. There we go. So this frame, and then we are left with the bare bones of the BASECAMP, and that's really cool if you don't need all of those extras and want to keep it minimal. Clips nicely in. Make sure it's all the way clipped. The French flag. Cool. Very easy to break down and build up. The polarizer. Help remove those reflections, glares in the water, reflections on the cars. You can see as I tilt it. But this is the circular polarizer, and we are going to mount that in. We have to remove the plates before we put it in, and I believe all the writing should be facing us. There we go. We can adjust the VND range with this gold. Can't see it, but it's nice and clear. So you need some of the markings and writing on the polarizer facing you in order to have the right way of the polarizer working. If it's giving you some weird yellow, bluish, magenta sort of shifting, then it's the wrong way. Have a look at the 2-5. Beautiful. So this, they've got it labeled on the top with nice metal handles, and that finish. Filters themselves, really high quality, feels great. I love the design and aesthetic. These are proprietary filters. They're also a lot slimmer, but they have a new 4x5 stage adapter. So if you have any of your existing like 4x5 filters, then you can clip and mount it onto the BASECAMP. I don't have any rectangular filters, so if you're starting from scratch, then just picking up PolarPros are really nice filters to handle. They look great, they feel great, and this is a 2-5 filter strength. The markings need to be facing you to have it on the right way, or the back part when you are behind the camera. And we can just drop that in, lock it in, and now those are all held in place. Now you won't be able to see it on the camera because I have a VND on my lens at the moment, but you can tell it's correct as it starts to lighten or darken the image with that variable ND and the circular polarizer as you rotate it. So there's the BASECAMP, really compact, super light. Alrighty, so that's what you get in the VND kit: circular polarizer, the VND 2.5, French flag, matte box itself, 2 base plates, and the full suite of clamp rings for cinema lenses or large diameter lenses. So if you're looking to just get started with the BASECAMP and build up over time, then this is a great starter kit. I have a feeling we're gonna see a lot more of these filter pouches, but hey, I love that PolarPro includes them. It's got good fleecy inside, micro sleeve type of texture. Let's have a look at those clamp rings. These are going to mount on your lenses, and I'm gonna find the one for my IRIX 21 T1.5. Now I've got the 95mm clamp ring, and in essence, you wanna put it this way. There's a little lip that stops the lens from sliding when you have it mounted. So if you put it up that way, Then for the correct clamp ring, it's held in place, easy to take off, but it just sits on top of that. And that will sit on top. We can lock it in place. And you just screw that in. And this is what it looks like on my cinema lens. It's actually really convenient for those large diameter lenses. You don't have to screw in those base plates. It just mounts on the outer diameter of the lens and the matte box secures onto that. So I really like the clamp rings. If you need to make a lens swap while shooting, then you just unscrew and then it will come off. So super easy. I'm gonna show you with the 77mm base plate for the 7200. Screw that in. Now this is compatible with matte box, and like with the clamp ring, center it up, screw that in. We've got it on my 77mm. So those clamp ring base plates, super nice, easy, quick to replace and switch. Not as quick as, of course, the Helix Maglock, but for the variety of lenses beyond your 82mm, then this works really well. Mount it onto my Sony FX30, just as a visual, since I'm shooting on my Sony a7 IV right now. So this is what it looks like. But this 7200 just really makes this thing big, but honestly, I love it. I'm pretty accustomed to very heavy lenses. This doesn't feel much different either. And again, if I want to just make it super compact, I can just pull these tabs and just rock the stage 2 filter without the hood and the flag. So still very clean, doesn't add much to the profile. So far, so good. If you want to mount another rectangular filter, then you need the third stage adapter. If you have regular 4x5 filters, non-Polar Pros, then you'd need their other adapter. So it's the box. Let's take that out. It is bigger and doesn't come with all those extra loops. Looks very similar to the multi-filter pouch. Here is the third stage adapter. It looks very similar to the main core of the BASECAMP, but there are a few differences. A clamp to mount onto the BASECAMP, the screw in to lock the stage 3 filter, and the locking nut for the French flag of the third stage. Together, the third stage French flag is slightly larger. It actually runs to the height of the locking part of the stage 2, but they're pretty much the same. And to mount the stage 3, then we need to unclamp the stage 2 hood as we had it before. So we are left with just the filter holder of the BASECAMP itself. Clamps, they're a lot more stronger, deeper, and require more force to mount this on. On the stage 3 filter, they're a little bit shallow. You don't need to pull them back as much, but they do have extra locking dial, and that's to really hold in place. So you just want to make sure everything is loosened. Now we've got the third stage adapter connected to the BASECAMP. So why would you do that? Well, it's up here. We've now got a second filter that we can stack or mount in front of it to take advantage of all the other filters that it comes with. So this is the rig now. And having the third stage, it does make it a little bit bigger, so the footprint is a little bit larger than on the stage 2. Little bit extra length, but it does feel really secure. That French flag feels nice, and we just got extra depth on the hood part. So far, it looks like you cannot take off the hood. So if you want to have both stage 2 and stage 3, you cannot make it in its most compact form with just the filter holders like we did on the original BASECAMP stage 2. So that's just something to bear in mind. Adds a little bit extra length, a little bit more weight, but you get the extra filter functionalities. Gonna unpack the rest of these filters. So moving on, we've got the VND 6 to 9. Get a ton of these cleaning cloths, and like the VND 2 to 5, this is the VND 6 to 9, and it says VND 6 to 9 on there. You can use the 2 to 5 if it's not that bright outside, or you're not looking to really open up the aperture and maintain that shutter angle or shutter speed. Now this is the VND 6-9 mist. There's quite a few differences from the non-mist version. Firstly, you can see the handles are a little bit taller on the non-mist version. You've also got that bronze sort of like gold trim at the top that's missing in the mist. And on the top, you can see it's a black frame also. You can tell with the naming here, it's the mist and VND 6-9. So most likely it's to help with knowing which version you have, like a mist and a non-mist. Purely visual, although I do like the aesthetics of the VND 2-5. The actual frame is the same height. There's not a big difference, but I will say the shorter handle makes it a little bit difficult to work with versus the drop-in on this. Just really nice and easy, like so. But that is the stage 2 and stage 3. Quarter strength mist, diffuse the highlights, the roll-off, extra halation and bloom around light sources like we've got here. My sliding door kind of acts as a diffusion, but on this one it will kind of help make it a bit more airy and not as digitally sharp and clinical. So those extra stylized filters would be nice. You have both in one, so you can rock a stylized filter on the stage 3, like an anamorphic, gold, blue, or even anything else in the future. So having mist built into your VNDs, especially if you use it often, is great, but also having a mist separately just allows you to use it if you want it for photos, using it with the circular polarizer. It's all about flexibility. So I've got 3 so far, and the shorter handle, I just place it towards the front in the multi-filter pouch. And you can see I've kind of just got this set up to make it easier, more stable than how I kind of had it earlier. But I've also kitted out the matte box on my IRIX 21mm t1.5 cine lens with that clamp ring. Just to give you that closer look, really sweet with the stage 3 adapter, ND8 graduated filter. Now this pouch is actually a bit taller than your typical one, which means the filter itself is also taller. ND8 graduated filter, very different from the other ones. It's a lot taller. You can see how much taller, quite a bit taller than this one. It's still got the same short handles. Sadly, this one won't fit in the multi-pouch case because it's just a lot taller. Light reduction towards the top, and then it goes super neutral, 0 stops on the bottom. This is just going to help level out the light and exposure of the sky down to the ground. It will help you balance out wherever your horizon is, so you can switch the level of ND reduction. Now, while I normally don't use these, again, it's a great specialty type of filter to have, including the director's kit. You can run this all the way through, and that allows you to adjust depending where your horizon is or the amount of light reduction. So if you don't need a hard ND8, then you can kind of have it sticking out a little bit higher like so. Or if it's super unbalanced, then you can have it sitting all the way down, and you can see that filter comes out towards the bottoms. Sweet, so that's the ND8 graduated filter. And then we've got the VND 2-5 mist. Same quarter strength built in like the VND 6-9. Director kit just gives you a full suite of making sure you've got the same mist strength across 2-5, 6-9 if you're in very harsh lighting conditions, or you don't need that much ND light reduction in a variable format. You can pick up hard stops for the NDs like 8, 16, 32, 64, I think all the way up to 256. The mist version of the 2-5 is the same as the non-mist versions, whereas the 6-9 stop mist is very different. So yeah, quite curious as to why they're different. I thought they might be matching, but hey ho. The larger handles I do find just a lot easier to work with than these. You can sort of prong it with your fingers, but yeah, it's not the most secure. Not sure on the logic. There might be a newer type of filter design, like handle design, but it matches with the rest of the 2-5 stop, 6-9 stop. It's just different from the 6-9 stop mist. So that's interesting. Finally, we have the mist light filter on its own. So whereas those VNDs had quarter strength mist built in, POLARPRO do offer standalone versions, and normally you'll find it indicated down below. And like I say, you can run the mist on its own. This is an 8th strength, 1/8. Running like an 8th is just going to give you that subtle mist effect. You can run with a CPL, a polarizer, or with the VND neutrals. You can see it's mist light. If it's mist, it's quarter strength, and if mist heavy, they have a half, but it's not included in the director's kit. Has the long handle, which I like, with the bronze trim on the aluminium. You also have the naming there. So that one can sit right in. Boom. Always got to make sure lock in those filters. Oh, okay. That suddenly picked up a lot of heft. I really like heavy rigs anyway, and I'm kind of used to it with my telephoto, rocking it for many hours. But for this, some people might find it a bit too heavy. I really like this. It's got all of the filtration with the matte box functionality. And then I've got it on my cinema lens. You can rock it with your rail mount supports and just give you an extra hold, or if you've got follow focus, which I'll be slowly building out. This is what it looks like handheld run and gun. It's a bit dwarfing the FX30, but I could rock it with this and also my Sony a7 IV with its cage. But I think it looks really slick. And when you're holding it on my left hand, if I'm not doing sort of manual focusing, then I can also just adjust the filters just here. That's going to control the circular polarizer or the VND strength if you have that in there. And yeah, as a 3-stage, it's definitely got a lot more heft to it. See how it is on its own. I love that it like dismounts really quickly and seamlessly, having these clamps and the base plates on this. Just loosen up the clamp ring in here. Line it up. There we go. Nice. And we are ready to rock on this. I really like this system a lot. Clamp rings, base plates, mixing between the two doesn't make it as friction as it would, especially with the threaded type of filters. And I love the drop-ins of these. It's really easy to just take them in and out. With the stage 3, it adds some heft, but it's still pretty reasonable considering the actual functions. Of course, mounting more glass on this, then it's going to really increase the amount of weight. I just pull that out. Just rock it super light. Again, if I take this off, put the clamp ring on, make sure it's on the right way, and then move it to this. That was actually really quick, nice and seamless. So yeah, really exciting. I love the functionality and just the smooth flow moving between a cinema lens with a 95 or anything beyond a typical 82 and the base plated versions. You just rock a few of these on there. Those handles really easy to drop in and out. If it had the same fleecy inside of the individual sleeves, this would also be really awesome. I find it can sort of snag into the filters and get a bit compressed. So we got a total of 5 in here. It can kind of snag into the divided padding, but it's included. Really handy to have and not rummage through all the different pouches if you want to just have a one-stop for all those filters. Quite a few cases to bring around and probably figure out what's the leanest way to carry with me in my backpack or just when I'm traveling around. But the Mac box itself, super lightweight, really functional. All of the filters, this weighs quite a ton on their own. I think it ranges between, probably they're like 100 grams each, maybe 150 for the larger ones. You just want to make sure the hood is really clicked in to the core. There might be a bit of a gap, so you just need to make sure you depress it in. The locking nut on the stage 2 flag, it kind of needs to be twisted all the way and even touching the flag for it to hold in place. It's quite a loose tolerance, so flipping it just slightly is going to close it off. What I like about it, it does provide some lens protection, but when I'm taking this out, I wish that there was a way to keep the CPL covered. There's no like back cover on this. Maybe a defender plates they have for the helix and stuff. They don't have anything here. It would be nice. I picked this up just in case, and I'm glad I did. This is the fender cover for your lenses that you have mounted with the base plate. It is a hardened ABS material, pretty solid, a bit more flexible on the edges, and it's just got a very clean look. That slots over the plate and that seals your lens. It's a shame that it doesn't come included in the director's kit. I would like it to come with it, and I think it adds the extra value. I mean, it's only like $10 US on there, so I picked up anyway, but it's nice if it had at least one, you know, 2 base plates and clamp rings, but you don't get anything to mount onto your lens to keep it permanently on there and covered. I also think it looks really nice as well, but at least it's also not hugely expensive if you want to just grab a couple, since you cannot mount the original lens caps. I'm going to talk a lot of my decision making, what I think of the BASECAMP, and follow it up once I've actually taken it out, done some shooting with it, and how it kind of feels in the whole shooting workflow. Pretty expensive, especially on the director's kit end, but if you are invested into the matte box, you're pretty fresh or new, you don't have any existing rectangular filters, it's a great way to just invest and get all of the filters now and save yourself a lot of cost later on. Filters cost $200 US per. So if you pick and choose the filters you want, or how much it will cost to add later on, if you get the cheaper VND kits, which is $549 US, then you can see if that's better for you. The stage 3 $900 US I think is also pretty good. It has the blue morphic rectangular filter, and it has a mist quarter strength, and it comes with the 3rd stage adapter. But the director's kit has the VND 2569 in the mist versions, as well as the ND graduated 8s. I didn't really mind that so much. It was more for the VND mists, and you get the 1/8. So overall, I found it just offered better value together. It's a shame that they also exclude the blue morphic. Hopefully they can bring some of the chroma glass tech and the filtrations over to the BASECAMP. I would love to have a gold mist, a black mist option, even just a new chroma glass to put with the CPL so that they can run along together rather than the CPL functioning as the VND. Still got my 67mm base plate coming onto my lens I'm shooting now. Keep an eye out for more of my BASECAMP videos. There was a lot more that I want to talk about, but I just tried to keep it clean on the unboxing. Now, if you like anything featured in today's video, or you want to see the rest of POLARPRO's range, then you can support the channel by using the links down below. I'll put it in the pinned comments and the video description. You can also find the links to other matte boxes and filters that I was considering along this process. Thanks a lot, Team KBA. I'll see you in the next video. But until then, keep being awesome. Peace.